He was 20 years old when he became king. By 30, he had conquered most of the known world. By 32, he was dead. No king had ever moved so fast. No empire had ever grown so quickly. And no one has ever fully explained how it all ended. This is the story of Alexander the Great. Alexander was born in 356 BC in the kingdom of Macedon. His father, King Philip II, had transformed Macedon into a military powerhouse. His mother, Olympias, told him he was descended from Achilles. He was taught by one of the greatest minds in history, Aristotle. Philosophy, science, politics, war. By the age of 16, Alexander was already leading cavalry into battle. At 20, his father was assassinated. Alexander became king, and immediately, rivals tried to overthrow him. He crushed them without hesitation. Then he turned south, forcing the Greek city-states into submission. The campaign against Persia was about to begin. In 334 BC, Alexander crossed the Hellespont into Asia Minor. He was invading the vast Persian Empire, ruled by King Darius III. His army was smaller, outnumbered, but better trained. The first major test came at the Battle of the Granicus River. Persian cavalry lined the banks. The river ran steep and fast. Alexander charged anyway. Leading from the front, he nearly died, saved at the last second by one of his officers. It was a brutal victory, but it proved something. He would fight at the front. He would not hide behind his men, and his soldiers would follow him anywhere. In 333 BC, Alexander met Darius III at the Battle of Issus. The Persian army was massive, but the terrain was narrow. Alexander saw the weakness. He led a decisive cavalry strike straight toward Darius himself. The Persian king panicked. He fled. And when the king fled, the empire trembled. 2 years later came the decisive confrontation, the Battle of Gaugamela. Darius had prepared carefully. Scythe to chariots, war elephants, a flat battlefield chosen for maximum advantage. Alexander adapted instantly. He stretched his line, created a gap, then drove straight into the Persian center. Darius fled again. This time, the Persian Empire collapsed. Babylon fell, Susa fell, Persepolis burned. The greatest empire on earth was his, and he was not yet 26. Most kings would have stopped. Alexander did not. He pushed east into Central Asia, then into India. His army marched thousands of miles, across deserts, mountains, monsoon rains. At the Battle of the Hydaspes River, he faced King Porus, whose army included war elephants. The battle was savage. Elephants smashed into Macedonian lines. Men were crushed beneath their feet. But again, Alexander adapted. He used mobility, encircled the enemy, won the field. But this time, something had changed. His soldiers were exhausted, far from home, homesick, wounded. When Alexander demanded they march further east, they refused. For the first time, he had to turn back. In 323 BC, Alexander returned to Babylon. He was 32 years old. He had conquered Greece, Egypt, Persia, Mesopotamia, parts of India. His empire stretched from the Mediterranean Sea to the Indus River. No one had ever ruled so much territory so quickly. Then he fell ill. Fever, weakness, silence. Within days, he was dead. Poison, disease, exhaustion? No one knows for certain. When asked who should inherit his empire, he's said to have whispered, "To the strongest." And with that, the empire he built fractured into war. Alexander changed the ancient world forever. He spread Greek culture across continents, founded cities that still stand today, redrew the map of civilization. But his empire did not survive him. It was built on one man, and when that man died, so did the unity of his world. History remembers him as Alexander the Great, but greatness came at a cost.
But Alexander's death did not just end a life, it shattered a world. With no clear heir, his generals, the men who had marched beside him for over a decade, they carved the empire apart. Egypt went to Ptolemy, the east fell to Seleucus, Macedon returned Rho Antigonus. The empire that stretched from Greece to India fractured almost overnight. Yet something remarkable happened. Ideas traveled farther than army ever could. Cities named Alexandria rose from the desert. This was the birth of the Hellenistic world, and it would shape the rise of another power in the West, an empire that learned from Alexander himself and would surpass him. Roma.